Alright, thanks for joining me today for my channel. This is Discovering My Money, and I'm of course talking about budgeting. Now, for my channel, I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of May and get monetized by the end of August, so I hope you'll click subscribe and like. I just want to today talk about, what emergencies can pop up, and I'm just going to give you an example of mine. So I'm planning on kind of moving myself to a totally different life. So I've kind of liquidated a lot of stuff. I've minimized. I had a situation where I thought I was going to be living in until I made that happen, right? So I basically put myself in a position that I can move as soon as I'm ready to go. Problem being is, even with all my planning and all my budgeting that I am doing, I had something occur yesterday that could possibly set me back, and I don't have a plan for it. And my budget doesn't actually, I don't know if my budget's going to cover it. So emergency plans are something that's unknown, right? Because it's an emergency. You can predict some emergencies that might happen, like the fridge might break down. But if you're putting yourself in a life situation where essentially you don't know where you're going to live, and financially that can be a pinch for moving, for higher rent, all these things that I'm not sure what are actually going to be my problems, although I know it's possibly a problem here in the next month. I've now got to determine how's that going to affect me now, but how's it going to affect my long-term goal, which I've been saving for. And so budgeting wise, emergency funds are huge. And don't just stop at, if I lose my job. Now, maybe you're locked in, you're not going to quit your job for 20 years. Maybe you know that. But there's always the unknown. So that emergency fund can always be a little bit higher. And right now, I fear my emergency fund is not going to cover it. All right, so that's it. So when you're budgeting, remember there's always the unknown, and how you set up your finances, your budgeting, your expenses. This is huge. And I didn't even touch on expenses. Let's talk about that quickly. If your expenses are maxing out what your income is, you haven't taken into account that you may, for some reason, have lower income. And it's out there, right? There's layoffs, cutbacks. Companies are doing all kinds of things right now, especially with the world the way it is. And you need to definitely put yourself in a position where you might have less money, and figure out how you're going to cope with that. And can you cope with it? If there's no way for you to cut back, you're putting yourself in a very sticky situation. Now, my situation, I'm not going to be in trouble for 3 months. I can live for 3 months. But my future goals are at jeopardy here. And I'm a little bit upset with myself right now. So don't put yourself in that situation. And I hope to see you for the next video. We're going to talk more about budgeting. But put some thought into what it is you need to secure your future. See you next time.